Hello everybody. Remember my last video? I showed you a model, a Star Trek model that somebody built, scratch built I presume, which was pretty unusual. Well, I bought a couple more. Yes, I don't know why I did, but I think they're quite interesting. This is the next one I bought. This is the USS Hannibal, supposedly. And it's made in the same way, and I was talking to the seller, as you can see there, and he says a friend of his actually made it, or made these I should say, and what he did was took Star Trek parts from model kits and the like. Very unusual design, as you can see, made molds of them and then stuck them in sort of designs that he liked. His painting isn't the greatest. I don't know if he actually did the painting or somebody else did, but it's pretty ropey. This one isn't as gaudy as some of them. Underneath there, if you can turn it around there, you can see. I quite like this one. And the whole point of doing this is that I hope to take the paint off and repaint them into something which is less, what's the word? Yeah, yes, precisely, that's the word. I mean, these nacelles, for instance, I think are from a Voyager. I'm not absolutely sure, but that's what he did. They actually made molds, lots of molds. As you can see, these little things here are deflected dishes and things of that sort, and he's actually used his imagination to make these models, which I think are great. Good to see. Now there's a part down at the bottom there, this part here, yes, which goes underneath here, if you can see that. Can you see? It goes underneath there, like so. And you can see it's the blue plastic. Now this blue plastic, well, actually it goes underneath there, and I think it looks terrible like that, so I've taken it off. It just pops off. This blue plastic, I sanded away some parts there, and you can see it's all this blue plastic stuff. It's very hard, so I presume he made molds, put plastic in there, and produced these things. But it's very hard plastic indeed. It's not the normal plastic you usually get from kits and things. So I showed this to a friend of mine who's a bit of a Star Trek fan, or as Simon Mux would say, a Star Trek Nazi, because he's a bit of a snob when it comes to Star Trek. And he sort of flips out about this, about, you know, how this shouldn't be done. But in my view, it's imagination. If I was making a kit, I want to make the kit or the model the way I want to see it. Now I'm going to take the paint off just like I am with the other one. Any suggestions for taking the paint off would be very welcome. Somebody said disinfectant will take the paint off eventually, but I'd need quite a lot of it. So I'm going to try and do that, and then hopefully repaint it in something a little less silver and bright, and a little more Star Trekky. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that part back onto the bottom here, because I just think it looks a bit silly. It goes slots into that slot there and pushes up. I won't do it now. It just makes it look a bit too much. But you know, I don't want to change the model too much, because whoever's made this has taken a lot of time to do it. There are some parts you can see. There's all sorts of weird Star Trek parts, and there's also parts like this one, if you're pointing at. And these here, these little noggins, whatever you call them. See if I can get it closer. Now these are from ships. These are the things that you tie ropes around to keep a ship from floating away, I presume. I don't know what the real name for these are. Windlasses? Not sure. But there's parts of these models, and you can just see parts where you think, oh, that's from so and so and so and so, or that's from so and so and so and so. But very interesting. Now, when I showed my friend the other one, he flipped out even more. Never mind. I just think they're fantastic, because they're a fantastic imagination. Now this is the other one. There we go. Now these nacelles, I'm pretty sure is from a kit I've got. I've never made a Star Trek kit, but I've got quite a few of them in my stash. And if it brings this forward, this has got, yes, 4 nacelles. Wow. Trying to think what kit it's from, these nacelles, because I'm sure I've seen them before, but I can't remember. But I quite like this one. It reminds me of a space liner than anything else. This one's called the Columbus. And underneath there you can see the deflector dish, or whatever they call them. Not absolutely sure. But this one is, I have to say, this one is so outrageous because of the 4 nacelles. It's so outrageous. I think the nacelles, I'm trying to think what kit it's from, but I can't offhand. Excelsior, yeah, that's the one. I thought I'd seen it before. It's got some nice detailed parts, like, you know, at the top here, these domes set into a like as if the roof goes over it, you know, something like that. Thing is, you've got all these parts here which he's actually put on individually, these little squares. They're not exactly right. I might try and file those down or sand them down flush. And again, you've got more of these, you know, bits and pieces. But, you know, as something of somebody's imagination, it's fantastic. It just needs repainting, maybe a few little I need to sand things down a bit, but I think it's a really good, very sturdy model. Somebody's taken a huge amount of time to do it, and I'm delighted with it. I'm just going to see if I can actually take this paint off, and I'll have some fun repainting them. So I thought I'd just show you these two. I've got 3 now, my goodness, running out of room. And I'll show you a video later of how I get on with taking the paint off and hopefully repainting them, and maybe fiddling around with the design a little bit, only slightly, just taking a few, sanding down mainly. But there we go. So, Star Trek. Ooh. Alright, thanks guys, see you soon.